165 pounds. Great to see Andrew Howe. Injured earlier, a hamstring, and he's back. NCAA champion from last year. He'll go up against Colt Sponseller from Ohio State. Let's hear from them. And we will in just a moment as we see how Howe goes to the finals. Had a close one in the semis against Jansen, 3-2. Sponseller all the way from the #2 seed, just as expected. Now we can hear from our finalists.
Andrew, great victory. You're back from an injury and you're wrestling tough. So are you prepared to win another national title this year?
Yeah, I am. You know, I had that injury and been recovering from it the last few weeks, and I feel like I haven't missed a beat though. Been getting a lot of good workouts in, and I'm feeling great, and I'm ready to make a run for another Big Ten championship and a national title.
Colt, great match, and you're wrestling a familiar person. You wrestled Andrew Howe in the finals last year. What's going to be different about this match?
Well, you know, when me and Andrew wrestle, it's really a brawl. I mean, we're two guys that like to get in each other's faces, have good conditioning, just like to duke it out. And I mean, I just need to not make mistakes. Last year, I mean, 1 or 2 mistakes here cost you the match, and that's the way it is in Big Ten. And when you get down to the NCAA tournament, you just minimize your mistakes, go out there and wrestle your best positions, and I mean, just score points. And when you've got 2 warriors on the mat like us, it just seems like a knockdown drag out.
These 2 warriors, there's Colt Sponseller. He dropped a 4-2 decision last year to this man in the Big Ten Championships, Andrew Howe, who as a freshman was the NCAA runner-up. Last year as a sophomore, the champion. And so they meet again for the Big Ten Championships. Andrew Howe from Wisconsin. Colt Sponseller, Ohio State.
Well, Colt Sponseller is exactly correct. These matches have been wars and go right down to the end. And I like it when one of these guys gets an early takedown, because it's not an indicator of what the match is going to be like, but it just opens the whole can of worms up. And a lot of times they'll spend a lot of time in this head, hands, defense position, ear to ear. They won't really get to the angle, but if one of them gets an early score, it gets fun real quick.
Absolutely. Andy has great offense, though. When he actually pulls the trigger, it's perfect. You know, he gets great penetration, he gets great angles, and once he gets the leg, he finishes pretty strong usually.
Yeah, that's a signature of Wisconsin wrestlers over the years. I mean, Barry Davis, you know, Donnie Pritzlaff here, when they got in on the leg, it was 2.
Absolutely.
Single leg. Lee Kemp, all right.
I mean, talk about a match made in heaven. Andrew Howe and Donnie Pritzlaff. I mean, they obviously, they not only look alike, but they wrestle similar, and it's been a great marriage between those 2. Andrew Howe from Cedar Lake, Indiana, but spent a lot of time on the road going to the Overtime club headed up by Sean Bourmet in high school. He'd drive 45 minutes to an hour and a half one way just to wrestle 3 times a week at Overtime.
Well, there's some great coaches there at that Overtime. Ed Geezy, all the guys that have world experience and great people.
There's Donnie Pritzlaff, 2-time NCAA champion of Wisconsin. Now on the coaching staff of Barry Davis. Wisconsin perennially now contending for the top echelon of the Big Ten championships.
And what a job Barry has done with Wisconsin here the last few years. I mean, they got their a top 4 trophy last season, of course.
Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and he's just done a nice job. His staff has done an excellent job of complimenting Barry's qualities as a motivator. There's nobody more excited in the corner, excitable, yeah, than Barry. But just one of the most positive people that you'd ever want to meet in your life. Went through some personal tragedy last year, you know, losing his brother, and his team really responded here with giving him the team trophy. And you know, Colt Sponseller, this is a guy a couple years ago, you know, ranked 1 or 2 in the country. In one of the tougher weight classes, more balanced weight classes.
30.
But Howe's been able to separate. But Sponseller is a guy that likes to keep a high-paced match and does have the tools to be able to win a tight match. And the great thing about him coming up in his program at Ohio State, they just seem to have the ability to flip the switch in the national tournament at tournament time. They've seen Jay Jaggers, Pasillo, and some of the others here that have won national championships. So he's seen it done with teammates, and I think he believes it's his turn this year.
Yep, that was a great shot by Howe. Just didn't, you know, the timing was there. He was in, but just didn't have the right angle to come up with the score.
There's Tom Ryan. What a wonderful job he's done at Ohio State. And he really is rebuilding. He had so many injuries. He expected to have a bit different of a lineup for Ohio State this year. But injuries, a couple of wrestlers that left the program. But he's a program builder. And, you know, Ohio State will be back close to the top here in the near future.
Sponseller putting the leg in. Howe coming right up to his feet. Sponseller a little bit high.
Yeah, he is high. And you got a guy like Howe who's pretty...
He's able to leg lace there, stay in the top position.
He's got it tight, though.
He's got it tight, but Howe is been able to pull his head out of that.
Better than the reversal, so Sponseller does a nice job of giving up only one to Andrew Howe. Andrew Howe had a closer than anticipated match in the semifinals against Aaron Jansen from Iowa.
Aaron Jansen is a guy who's come out of nowhere in this weight class. Has been wrestling pretty competitive in the last couple of months.
Well, when you have a room that's competitive like that, like the Iowa room, you know, you just sort of step up because everybody else is. And, you know, you kind of get pulled along and you see your teammates, you know, being champions and you want to be one too.
You just never know where Barry Davis is going to be in his matches. But, and so, you know, we kind of play a where's Barry game.
He's in the front row.
There, yeah. I
right
mean, our camera, we have great camera operators, and we're going to find Barry. And because he's just too entertaining to not see during a match. As you said, he's done a great job at Wisconsin. Last year's National Wrestling Coach Association Coach of the Year.
Great honor. Barry's worked very hard to build that program and surrounded himself with great coaches. Donnie, incidentally, Donnie Pritzloff has won on every level. He was a junior world champion. 20 and under age group was third of There's Barry.
Davis in the crowd. He's not down on the mat side. That's Barry Davis being one of the crowd. A couple of rows up right behind the head table. That's the end of the second period. We'll go to the third period. Andrew Howe out in front, 1-0. Tom Ryan is a two-time All-American at Iowa. And Barry Davis is a three-time NCAA champion at Iowa.
I got a funny story about Barry. You know, he has a memory that goes back 30 years in wrestling. I'm sitting next to a teammate of mine, and he knew who he was, and he mimicked his style. He said, "This was your style. You had duck feet out." It's Randy Conrad, a teammate of mine, and he basically mimicked his style, just had us cracking up. He's got a great memory for styles of the sport, and that's why he's been an effective coach.
Jim Lee, why is Barry in the crowd and not on the mat?
You know, I think, I know this because these coaches like Donnie and Frayer work more closely with the athletes. So they want the athlete that has the coach that spends the most time with them in the corner. Well,
my coach was Coach Harold Nichols, and he told me he put my grandma in the corner if it helped me win.
Legendary coach Harold Nichols, Iowa State, who Jim Gibbons succeeded at Iowa State. NCAA champion wrestler and coach Jim Gibbons, along with Lee Kemp, three-time NCAA champion, three-time world champion. You're listening to two of the best analyze the action here on the Big Ten Network for the Big Ten Wrestling Championships, presented by Cliff Keen Athletic.
Now doing his best here to go ahead. Oh, nice roll through there by Sponseller. Cut the riding time.
No riding time advantage. It's 1-1. There's 1 minute left in the third period and regulation. If it stays like this, we'll go to overtime.
You see this so many times in this weight class where guys, they have a difficult time getting to each other's corner. They can't, difficult time to get that corner shot off. There's a 2-on-1 by Sponseller. That's a technique that you can get to the corner with. Getting off the left-hand side, but you notice how Howe squares up so well. Circles, retreats, then comes back forward.
Sponseller's doing a great, nice step in there, but Sponseller's doing a great job of controlling Andy, really, you know, controlling the ties.
Yeah, I think that right-hand collar tie that Sponseller is implementing, and then he comes back into the 2-on-1 on the left side, is throwing Howe off a little bit.
It is. It absolutely is.
Sponseller, the senior, he's trying to get his first Big Ten Wrestling Championship, Big Ten Championship. And he's going to go to overtime with the man that beat him last year, 4-2 in regulation. So we go a step further for the West Holmes High School product from Glenmont, Ohio. Sudden victory. 1 minute goes on the board. Tim Shields from Apple Valley, Minnesota is the head official. He brings them to the center. The whistle's blown. And the first wrestler to score will win this match and be the Big Ten champion. And if they don't score in this minute, we'll bring you up to speed on what the next steps are in the overtime.
Good double leg attempt there by Howe. Again, Sponseller was able to go ahead and get to the collar tie on the right-hand side and then follow it up with the 2-on-1 on the left. Now he drops
Here it
into
is.
a shot.
Nice angle change. Great job.
Howe in. He's got the red ankle band. Andrew Howe in, and he's looking for two. He's cut off to the double.
He should have the two. He's got his arm across.
Cheeks are on the mat.
Not much time left, but
2 points.
there it is. There's your Big Ten champ.
Big Ten champion Andrew Howe. Disappointment for Colt Sponseller. Colt Sponseller in a couple of weeks will have the opportunity to become an All-American for the first time. Here's your NCAA champion from last year and 2011 Big Ten champion Andrew Howe from Wisconsin. Wisconsin fans up on their feet. An appreciation for this young man. Snapped a hamstring, and now he's back. What a courageous comeback. Let's go to Jim with Andrew.
Well, Andrew, Big Ten championship, but you knew it was going to be a war out there with Sponseller. And tell me about your last shot there for the championship.
Well, I think it came off a hard fake, and I jumped on that front head, and his leg was close to his head, so just ran it down.
I tell you what, you look like you're full speed, completely healthy with that leg, and you're looking so pretty tough out there.
Yeah, thanks. You know, I feel like I haven't missed much being out, and feeling great. I'm ready for Philly.
All right. See you in Philly.
Okay, thanks.
Take care. Back to you, Tim.
Great action here, as you can see that he's in tight. All he's got to do now is just get that arm across, and which he does. And once he gets that across, it's just a matter of time before the official scores the
Andrew
takedown.
Howe from Wisconsin wins the Big Ten championship at 165. And there's Barry Davis. Says, yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Gives the fans in the stands some high fives. And another Badger Big Ten champion, and Barry Davis, Mr. Excitement. And we'll be back at 174 pounds for more excitement. Freshman Ed Ruth from Penn State will try to give Penn